Section 3.5, Forms of Quadratic Equations. You have 3 questions in this section. The first is, what is the vertex of the graph of f of x equals negative x squared minus 6x minus 11? So to find the vertex of a graph in standard form, we use the following rule. So negative b over 2a is going to give us our x coordinate, and then f of that, or in other words, if we plug in the answer to what we get for our x coordinate for our vertex, that's going to tell us our y. So I'll kind of show you what that means and what that looks like here. Okay, so I need to identify my b and my a for this formula. So my b is going to be that term with the x, that's going to be that negative 6, and then my a term is that number out front of the x squared. In this case, it's negative 1. If you don't have a number out there with that negative sign, it's really like you have a 1 there. I have a negative x squared, so I have a negative 1 x squared. So then I'm going to go ahead and just plug that in to my formula here. So negative b, so negative 6. I have to use both negatives. The formula is negative and I have a negative, so I'm using both negatives. And that's going to be all over 2 times a, and my a value is negative 1. So when I simplify that, 2 negatives make a positive, so I'm going to have 6 over, and then 2 times negative 1 is negative 2, so my answer for my x coordinate is negative 3. Okay, so that's the first part of my coordinate. Now I'm going to take this answer and I'm going to plug it in to this function. So I'm going to have f of negative 3, which is going to equal negative 3 squared minus 6 times negative 3 minus 11. And so what I can do here is pull up my calculator and then just type that in. So I have negative 3 squared minus 6 times negative 3 minus 11. And I end up with negative 2 as my answer. So that is my y coordinate. F of negative 3 equals negative 2. That's the same thing as saying y equals negative 2 when I'm graphing that. So there's my point for the vertex of my graph.